Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of iWoofs. I am Jamie Dunbar, and I'm joined, as usual, by my dad, Dr. Ian Dunbar, and Kelly Dunbar. Today, we're going to be talking. You guys want to wave? Say hi.
Okay, sorry, I missed my cue.
That's all right. I don't know that you need to wave. We were just actually thinking about whether you guys like saying hi at the beginning.
I think it's friendly to say hi, everybody.
Sounds good.
I like it.
Well, today we're going to be talking about all the stuff you should buy before you bring home a new puppy.
Oh.
As you may remember from our last episode, my neighbors are getting a new puppy, and I'm going to try to help them raise and train it. They're actually on vacation right now, and they're picking up the puppy on their way home, and I've offered to purchase and set up all their puppy gear for them. And so last week, I spoke with Kelly, and she put together a list of essential puppy gear and the types and brands she recommends. And today, we're going to go through all of it so you at home can benefit from what we've learned. So
should we say that we're not sponsored by anybody? Because we're not.
That is a good thing to say. Yeah, we're not getting paid, right?
Yeah, I have my own preferences that I have used over years, but nobody has told me to say that, and I'm certainly not getting any kickbacks.
We cannot be bought.
So I was thinking we start with one of the most essential items on the list, the crate. And I believe you suggested a plastic crate, right? I think it was a Very Kennel brand. So what do you like about that crate, Kelly?
I like travel crates. I like plastic travel crates. Obviously, every dog is an individual, and sometimes there's some tweaking for what works best for various dogs. But I actually like the enclosed den-like hard-covered shells, or there's other ones that are made of not plastic but something better, which I don't know what it is because I don't know materials. But the idea that it's like a travel, like airline type crate versus a wire crate is what I prefer. Wire crates are very open and
look at that. Right?
Oh, look at that.
Something along these lines.
Yeah.
I don't think this was the exact one you recommended, but this is one we have in the office.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exact, but I like them more closed. Obviously, they need ventilation. They all have air holes and stuff. But I find that wire crates provide too much stimulation and too much, like visual, stimulation for the dog to feel cozy and secure, and also it can be distracting for them. Also, I feel like, something like that.
Too much visibility.
And just not as cozy. Sorry for settling. And also toes can get caught in those when they're getting in and out, and cause pain and duress, which obviously isn't going to help them enjoy their crate more. It could be borderline dangerous. Just not my preference for a lot of reasons. The benefits of a wire crate is they are collapsible and they become really skinny. So as a puppy gets used to their crate and calmer, sometimes I will use a wire crate for travel for an adult dog or an older puppy that is crate savvy already, or for dogs that run super hot, or for dogs that maybe need to see everybody to feel comfortable at first. But generally speaking, hard plastic den-like is my strong preference.
Nice. Dad, do you have any crate input you'd like to share with people?
I do. We'll do point counterpoint. I mean, totally in agreement with Kelly there. I love the plastic crate. It's definitely safer. In terms of pros and cons, when you finish crate training the dog, of course, storage is harder with that. It will break down. You take it apart and put one half inside the other. So it then becomes half the size for storing in your garage. And if you want to bring it out, say if you go on a car trip and put the dog in, the great advantage of the wire crate, there's two of them. One, it folds flat, much easier to store. And because it's see-through, you can put a blanket over it. And at nighttime, it really helps you then fold the blanket down in front. The one proviso for this is if it's too hot. So, the air circulation in the plastic crate, we want to make sure the dog is in a cool space. And in lots of parts of the country, that means it's in an air-conditioned room or with at least a fan blowing on it. Obviously, the wire crate has better circulation. The most important thing, though, is it's a crate. And this will be one of the most important tools you've ever bought that teaches your dog so much to become a much better companion and to be a happier dog. Because if you're regularly crate training from the outset with a new puppy or an adult dog that you've adopted and you get it into the crate routine in the first week, it's much less likely to develop separation anxiety. It's much easier to live with because you just say, go to your bed. And, we have a whole bunch of crates and the doors are open. And we'll often find that, dogs have free run of the house at times. And often they go and lie down in their crate with the door open. I mean, they like having their own quiet place where the other dogs can't steal the treats.
Did you want to say something?
Which is, countering your counterpoint of having to put the crate in the garage. Why, if they like it? A lot of dogs do prefer that as their little bedroom. It's convenient at times. Or you can break it down into a half shell and have a nice little dog bed, kind of nest-like dog bed. But the ventilation thing can be an issue. I would add, and I think this will segue into one of Jamie's other list items, if I am correct, that we don't want to overuse the crate anyway. We would like to have the dogs out and about and have a little more freedom and airflow in general. And so I've become really fond of using the X pen, the exercise pen, if you will, over the crate for much of the daytime management of puppies.
All right. And on that note, why don't we talk about X pens? Another, I think, pretty critical item. Obviously, I don't have one I can easily pull out here, so I'm going to share my screen and show kind of the style you were recommending for an X pen. Let's see. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can make it bigger. Oh, there we go. Right. So
that's perfect.
That's like it's like an 8-sided wire exercise pen, and I think you recommended a door, right? You really like having a door.
Yes. Well, I like them to be tall, and if they're tall, then a door is very useful. A lot of people, when they get small
dogs, they're little tiny dogs. They don't have to be that tall, and you can just bend over and drop.
I like them tall because I don't like the puppies getting the idea of climbing or reaching at the top and either trying to climb and get over or getting the idea of jumping up or knocking it over. So the taller they are, the less likely any puppy will get out. And then unless people will be reaching over the fence, which encourages kind of jumping and climbing. So
when Kelly and I were talking last week, I liked what you were saying about how, right, if you never go over the wall, then maybe your puppy doesn't even have to know that there is an over the wall that exists. You feed them treats through the wall, and they think through the wall. You open the door, they go through the door. They don't have to know there's an over.
Yeah, you learn that after you have a couple monkeys in your life, puppy monkeys.
I think the important thing here is to stop owners making their really. Where have you gone, Jamie?
Oh yeah, I'll come back.
Are you in the crate?
People have seen this
I can
crate.
see you. I can.
Although actually, before I send this picture away, I just want to point out this. A lot of the crates have these 8 sides, and in all the photos, they're set up like an octagon. But I think we like to encourage people to set them up with 2, 3 panels and then 1 panel, so you have a nice long rectangle area. All right, I'll stop sharing. Let's see.
Right. So I think the most important thing is, it's crate or X pen. One very important use of the crate during the daytime is to get your puppy ready for nighttime. Don't wait until it's 10 p.m. and you're tired to put your puppy in the crate. So it's really good the first 3 days he's at home. I like a lot of crate time then. So when it comes to the night, the puppy is used to it and he feels secure. Do not let your puppy out without supervision and guidance. This is the biggest mistake that people make. So when you're at home, it's crate or X pen, unless we're coming out for a pee break a poop break, and then we play train for 10 minutes, then back in either the crate or the X-Pen. A biggie with the X-Pen is, I personally think the shapes of most X-Pens is just totally wrong, and people haven't considered dog behavior. Same goes for cats. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so X-Pens should be long and thin. Why? If you have a bed at one end and a toilet at the other, the dog will naturally learn to eliminate only in its toilet, because they want to do it as far as possible away from where they sleep. So if it's an octagon, that kind of hopeless. So I advise people erect it so it's a rectangle, long and thin. And if you do this in a corner of the room, you can secure the top of 3 corners of the crate to the wall, one in the corner and the other 2 corners to the wall. So it's going to be very stable should the puppy jump on it and put his paws on it. And of course, the other 2 things in the crate, the bed at one end, toilet at the other end, is a water supply, preferably a no spill water supply, but they need water all of the time. All of the time. I know,
Don't worry, Dad. We will get to all of those items in a
That's
moment.
And then they need lots of stuffed chew toys. So it's 4 things in the crate. But I think in most of our literature, we said, when you're at home, have the puppy in the crate. When you're not at home, the X-Pen, because they will need to eliminate. And that's why the difference. But it's much better, I think, for the puppy to learn about life when in the X-Pen. He can get up, he can walk around, he pees a long way from his bed, and we can tie the toys so they don't leave his bedroom or playroom part of the X-Pen.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we're going to cover
And of course, the other critical thing about placement, and this depends on what your house is like. Do you have an outside yard or not? Or are you in an apartment? It's very good to have the toilet end of the rectangle nearest to the door, where eventually you will take them out to pee, whether that leads to your yard or whether it leads to the hallway and you're going down the elevator. So if you do ever have an accident later in life, it's highly likely to be close to that door.
All right. Those are some good tips.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So another item on the list, and this was I think interesting for me, was a bed. And again, I don't have one right here. It's in the mail on the way here, but Kelly suggested a bed along these lines, like a mat style bed.
Cot style bed.
Right, a cot style bed. And so what do you like about this sort of bed, Kelly?
It's raised, so it has a very clearly defined boundary, which is very helpful for keeping your puppy on the bed as later in life, as they become an older puppy or a young adolescent. You want to teach them that their bed can be used as a placement to settle, almost like an invisible crate. So the clearer the edges are, the better for that. It also provides, I find, in a pen, a very, again, definable boundary for the bed versus the potty. If you do have if your long-term confinement area has a toilet in it, not always, you won't always need a toilet in your long-term confinement. But if you do have one, there's the potty area, then there's a raised bed where the puppy chews and plays, and they will naturally gravitate towards that, which helps again with the settling later. They're also super comfortable. They're easy to clean. Your puppy is way less likely to pee on that or chew on that than they are a big, soft, cushy donut bed, which everybody wants to buy their babies these adorable beds. There's so many comfy dog beds out there that even I want to, cuddle up in. Some of them look really, really plush, right?
Yeah. Why don't they make an enormous one for humans? Like, why is that not a product?
They do, Jamie. They used to make them in the 60s. Everyone would have a big donut.
Oh, that's true. Like a big booth and stuff, right?
A bean bag or something like that. Yeah.
It's so great. And then some of them even have like a hoodie cover kind of thing to them, almost like a tent.
You got the egg
like
bed
those for cats and little dogs.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So, But your puppy doesn't need one right. Most puppies, again, there's no 100% in any of what we're saying. These are general rules of thumb. Certain puppies might get super cold or be super clean, and then that's fine. Not every puppy and breed type wants to cuddle up and be, all smushed in. Some of them like to spread out and be cooler and upside down and air out their bits.
I think something you said
But
that I liked a lot was that you can kind of think of it that your puppy earns their squishy bed by showing
yeah,
you that they're not going to chew it and they're not going to pee on it because they've
well,
learned to chew their chew toys in there.
exactly. You need to teach them what to chew and what not to chew. And too often, these fancy puppy beds people end up getting peed on and chewed up early on. And a little puppy peeing on a soft bed, you can kind of get away with that for days, if not longer, without you noticing until it's already like, ugh. If it's a little puppy and their little pee is like whole spot is that much, and it adds up over time. So it's if it's too soft and absorbent, and especially if it's kind of like a flat, soft absorbent pad, it doesn't look that different from a toilet to them, and it definitely can become a chew toy. So, and then if they ingest like the fuzz or the internal, whatever they use, these like synthetic fibers and fibers, and a lot of them, it's not good. So I like to start them off. This is your bed. You can put a little fleece on it, maybe, during supervised times. But I find it's comfortable enough for most puppies. Give them a little stuffy toy to sit next to, put a stuffy toy in their crate, and that's how I start most puppies.
I think the most important thing about these beds, as a human being, when I look at them, I think that is like a prison bed. That has to be so uncomfortable. But the best thing that they have going with these beds, the dogs love them. It blows my mind every time I see a dog get on one. They love them.
You're talking about the cot style bed, right?
Cot style bed, yeah. As a very young puppy, I would not even think of having a bed in the crate until the dog has got used to chewing on Kongs. You do not want the puppy to chew the bed once. You don't want him to pee on it once, because that's the precedent, in the crate.
Yeah.
So for 3 days, I would say, don't even think of having a bed in the crate. And then when the puppy's in his X-pen with one of these cot beds at one end, he's going to think, this is luxury, man. This is cool for 2 reasons. One, because they love them anyway, but 2, because we don't actually have a bed in the crate. Now, of course, once your puppy, it's pretty much been problem-free for several months. So now we're thinking he's about 6 to 8 months old. You can buy him any kind of bed you like. It's up to you. I personally like beds that look nice in the house, that they match the furniture, things like this.
I think that's cool. I don't know, but it depends on the house style, right?
Yeah.
But that brings the point that so many of these puppy items are designed for the human eye, and palate, and it's important that we know which ones are more functional than others. And some dogs can, there are certain breeds that can do a soft plush bed from the beginning, but there's a lot of problems that can come with that. I wouldn't start with that. Just like I don't usually buy a puppy a fancy collar at the beginning, if for no other reason than they're going to grow. You don't want to spend $200 on it.
Don't jump Jamie's gun. Another great thing about the cot beds. So I couldn't look at that one closely enough, but they come in a very small package and you assemble them, which means, of course, you can take them apart and put them in your car to travel with them if you want your puppy to stay at grandma's house or in a hotel, and you just make his bed up and put it there, and now the puppy knows exactly where he should be in the hotel room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even the big ones for large breed dogs that are adult sized, I personally like the modern aluminum frame, can't be chewed on. But they're sturdy, but they're light, and so they are easy to take places. Yeah.
I think then the cot beds are getting 2 thumbs up. Am I correct there, Kelly? 2 thumbs up. Good. 4 thumbs up.
Unambiguous thumbs up. All right, now I've got a good segue. We don't want the puppy chewing on their soft, plush bed. We want to teach them what to chew on. And so Kelly has suggested a number of chew toy items. We've got, of course, classic Kongs, but puppy Kongs. I believe this is a medium size. This is a large size, even though this looks like what you might call a small, and this looks like what you call a medium. The people at Kong say large, medium, and then also this one, it seems like both of you have been getting excited about lately, the Orby Tough Snoop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're lovely.
Snoop, which, all right, I saw you can do this, boop, make it easy to fill, and then.
Oh my God, Jamie, I've never done that.
I have never worked that out yet. Good
What?
Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
You're
wondered.
always like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
If I have one criticism of the Orby Snoop, it's such an annoying thing to fill. It's meant to make the food hard to get out. Yeah, thank you, Jamie.
Oh my goodness.
Every day.
Yeah, learn something. Yep.
And they come in sky blue as well, which I think is a much nicer color in most houses.
Oh.
I only buy the
They also come in orange.
Oh, can you imagine living with that? Because you could find it easier. We lost one last night, and I'm out with a flashlight searching the property for the Snoop that one of our dogs ran out with and dropped. So I put it on the chair, and when the dogs are coming in, one of the dogs picks it up. I can't remember who, but it disappeared. But we did find it. But no, the Snoop is an exceptional product. It really is. And what's nice about it, so my view about the chew toys is Kongs, to me, the classic Kong is absolutely brilliant. However, the one drawback is if your dog has it in the crate, if he's one of these dogs that tosses it in the air and it comes down, bang, it rattles the crate each time. That's where the Snoop is wonderful because it's quiet. Okay. The great thing now, we get back to the beds. This is another wonderful thing about the little beds on legs. The chew toy doesn't roll off. So you can put a Kong on there, a Snoop, or the one extra toy, or a couple I would add to that would be, I like gorilla bones made out of wood, although it leaves a bit of a mess. But of course, the mess is contained to the cot bed. It's easy to vacuum up. I very much like antlers. And I like a Kong wobbler too. That takes a long time for a dog to open that.
I think we have something akin to that. Kelly recommended this tricky treat ball, which seems like not really a chew, but you roll it around, yeah?
Yeah, it's a very simple toy, but for some reason they like that. Though I have to say, universally, the Snoop is what is the most popular. Wouldn't you agree? In like almost I've never had a dog not love the Snoop. The tricky treat ball is a really easy one for people to use and throw and roll around outside. I think there's a billion more. The toy market has gone crazy, and there are a whole bunch of toys. And I actually think we should do a whole episode on different types of toys and chews and where and why to use them. But
we will.
This is people started, and I think we have a good amount already there. Why the Kongs, Ian? What's the thing about the Kong?
I mean, it was the first, stuffable chew toy out there. And to this day, it's pretty much a classic for, you can feed dogs out of Kongs, moisten the food, stuff it, really. Freeze it. It's really cool. But I think additional toys too. The other great thing about the Kong is if it rolls away from the dog, it rolls in a circle. It doesn't go far. I don't generally like ball toys. You see, the Snoop won't roll away from you. It'll stay close. The Kong will stay close. If it's a ball shaped, it's gone. It's under the furniture. Now we got a problem. Or,
It's good for a pen or for outside, though, where they can roll and play and move around.
The other thing about the Snoop, I've yet to meet a dog that's destroyed one. And I'm talking little dogs and big old dogs. What it's made out of, I don't know what it is. It's a
silicone type. Silicone type?
It just gives. It's like a type of silicone, so they can't bite through it. I mean, I'm sure I will meet the dog eventually that puts a big old paw on it and rips it, but as yet, we got the same Snoops we bought. There will be a little.
Snoop that's like I don't know how old. I mean, like probably 8 years old in my house, as
Yeah,
well. So much so that it looks like it's mint colored, not blue.
yeah.
It's faded over time.
Oh, and of
So
course we have forgotten a regular long bone that obviously one that's raw, you don't want them cooked,
marrowbone.
but just a regular marrow bone. And if you have a dog that's new, don't let them chew it. You don't want them eating the whole marrow, or else they'll have terrible diarrhea. So, but they love them getting the marrow out. And then you take it away, give it back, take it away, give it back. When it's empty of the marrow, you just restuff it with kibble, moisten kibble, stuff it in and freeze. And so the good old marrow bone is a lovely, and that's probably the cheapest of the lot. I mean, these toys, be prepared for it. They are expensive, but one chewing accident, and you could have bought 1,000 cons for that.
And
No,
on
that's
that
true.
note, we were thinking more than one, certainly. I think
Oh yes,
we got like 3 puppy Kongs and 3 regular Kongs, as well as this Snoop and this tricky treat ball.
Mhm,
well,
mhm.
because you're always going to have half of them in the fridge, freezing if they're stuffed with moistened kibble.
And
Then
then
Or
along the
washing.
lines of the edible chews, Kelly suggested a couple pig ears. So I got a handful of
I could not see what that was. It looked like you
yeah, it's
had
very
held up a
right,
banana for a
right,
second, or mango.
and also a bully ring.
Let me. What's that? Oh yeah,
This was
I
bully
like the
ring.
bully rings. I like the rings for the bully because they don't end up in these sharp. I mean, the sticks that they can swallow
Uh,
in stick form. They usually they nibble them down, and by the time they're the size that they might swallow, they're smaller and a little curved. I worry about things that are long and hard that can be swallowed.
yeah.
So I like the rings, and it's cute because a lot of dogs will put them on their wrist, like because they're trying to hold them, and it's like they're wearing a little bully bracelet while they chew.
Little bully bracelet.
yeah. And the other thing is anatomically, or I guess I should say
Oh my
histologically,
goodness!
the cartilage is a much healthier thing for a dog to consume than rawhide. I have had quite a few dogs who have taken a big
And
chunk of
thi-
rawhide.
this is cartilage,
That's cartilage, yeah.
and this is rawhide.
No,
No,
that's cartilage.
cartilage.
Oh,
That's
both of these are
is
cartilage.
is
Yeah,
a
both
bull
both of
is a
those are
bull
good.
penis also?
Pardon?
That's cartilage. That's a bull penis is cartilage.
Um, um, fibrous tissue. The point is, it's not rawhide. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
No, I
not.
couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't see whether that was a bull's penis or a trachea. I couldn't.
Yes, no, this is a beef pizzle, which is
Yeah,
penis. Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
So
pizzle. Why can't they just say penis? Why do they have to?
Well,
I guess
marketing,
this
they're
is
worried
marketing
they'd lose
101.
some men wouldn't buy it anymore. They'd be like, I'm
yeah.
not feeding a penis. I'm not touching a penis.
Anyway, back to rawhide. I've had so many dogs which have had problems where because it's so slippery and they swallow chunks that's so big, and then they
Mhm,
get blockages, and
mhm.
that's not so. I
Very
just don't.
dangerous.
If they're chewing rawhide, I'll take it away. I'll watch them and then take it away. But
Yeah.
so I'm not in favor of that.
Okay, we have one more toy item. Kelly suggested some nice puppy tugs. These look like little flattened animal carcasses. They came in a 3-pack, and these happen to have squeakers, which I'm assuming, since this seems destructible, this is definitely a supervised tug toy, right? You play with this with your dog, with your puppy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like to leave things so they can eat in there
Have you
that
gotten
are.
these before? Have you
Oh,
used these specific
oh
ones
heck yeah.
before? Oh, yeah.
They're very popular, and they don't have the stuffing, so they don't have the same dissection issues. Although some dogs will still like to take out the squeaky heart.
Yeah.
It's a fun toy to teach them how to play chase with you and follow you and play tug a little bit and maybe a little fetch. And they're cute. They're cute little dead animals.
It reminds me a lot of Mr. Carcass from the famous Mr. Mouse
It
and Mr.
is
Carcass video.
Apart from the
similar to me.
squeaker, and I mean, I personally would outlaw squeakers. They're a pain, and so many dogs will get to the squeaker and then eat the squeaker. That I think the only times I've given dogs toys with squeakers are ridiculous squeaker toys, like the crocodile with 48 squeakers in it we got for
Oh my
Dude.
gosh. Well, then you're just all in,
Yeah.
aren't you?
And
Yeah.
then I watch them rip it apart, and then it's all cleared up and thrown away. But I don't like squeakers in toys, and especially an interactive toy like a tug toy. This is an interactive toy. You're going to play with your dog with it, and you can either use it as a fetch toy. You chuck it and ask dog to bring it back. When he brings it back, the reward is we play tug. And I love these two games to play with toys because they both give you free centripetal behavior, free proximity, free recalls. Of course, the dog wants to bring a toy back. Otherwise, you can't throw it. Of course, the dog wants to come to you with the toy if you're going to play tug. So I love to keep these interactive short tug toys as very special. And they only come out when I'm there.
Yes.
So the dog stays close. And, we said, remember in our dog-dog reactivity, this is my standard way of, dealing with it, that every 25 yards you stop, 2 steps back, come, chip, out comes the tug toy, and the dog is focused on you, and now his butt is facing the other dog. So interactive toys are special. Don't just leave them for the dog to destroy and then get bored with, because they'll give you so much attention and engagement.
It's so hard. People do that all the time. In many of my private lessons and many of my students, I say keep whatever it is. I've instructed. Sometimes it's a ball on a string, which we do use, but not so much with baby puppies that have first come home. So I didn't recommend that for this. But keep it special so you can pull it out and use it. And make it. If it's out all the time, they're really bored. And the nice thing about the carcass is it is flat, so it is easy to stick in your pocket or something as well.
Also, if you are
size,
if you're anti-squeaker like Ian, I'm pretty sure we could surgically remove these pretty easy. However, I do feel like for some people who maybe don't have the affect and the voice skills that a professional dog trainer has, that could be very useful for getting a puppy's attention. Right?
Yes, but I wouldn't advise them to do it. I would say, come on, it's not rocket science training your dog. It is science, but it's not rocket science. You don't need something to make a sound for you.
Not everyone can be squeaky silly, Dad. Some people have a great difficulty.
I'm not asking to, Jamie. I with men, I always take them aside and say, look, you don't have to squeak. I know your dog trainer, who happens to be a woman, said, can't you be a little sweeter? Can't you raise your voice? No, I can't. Then we'll teach the dog that when I say good dog, that's so happy. Why? We'll use it as a secondary reinforcer, which it is. Praise is a secondary reinforcer. Praise words rather. So we can say good dog, and that means everything to the dog rather than saying, who's a good boy then, din. So train your dog to do stuff in a normal voice and use rewards the dog likes. Then you don't have to squeak like an idiot.
I look forward to our future iWoofs episode, squeakiness in training, pros and cons.
I think say about that affect. Affect.
I think there's a lot we could talk about, but not for today. So the next item on the list is the water bowl. And I'm not sure if this was intentional, but you suggested I buy an enormous water bowl. Is that
no,
super
that was absolutely not right. No. I did not mean.
This is a 96 ouncer. It feels like it could be a bathtub.
It's going to be a swimming pool. It's going to be a swimming pool for your puppy.
But I was thinking
same style.
It's very stable. Like it's
not
going to tip
over.
One
good thing about it, Jamie, is they can't tip it over. It's a little.
Well, that's the style. They come in all sorts of sizes. I have a really tiny one of the same style somewhere with a rubber bottom, and then that style. It's anti-tip, and they can't pick it up very easily. So those two things are great. But you may have to go back and get a tiny one. Save that for I don't know. Just save it for the other house.
Great
I'll use it.
We have a downright tiny one that's like this big. Is that the kind you'd want, or do you want kind of like medium?
No,
because they don't need a lot of water, right?
Diameter.
Yeah,
I would say a 6-inch diameter. Then it will last the dog's life if it's made out of stainless steel like that with a non-slip bottom. You certainly don't want a water bowl the dog can tip over, because a lot of dogs find this a lot of fun.
All right. Okay.
And funny when you see the dog do it and you laugh. Now they're going to do it forever, and it will eventually really annoy you that you're skidding on the kitchen floor.
Yeah. And to be clear, water bowl, not a food bowl, right? This is a
Look how
water
big that is compared to Jamie's head, compared to this
bathtub,
little.
Yes.
bathtub, not a food bowl. Okay, so now, of course, another essential item I thought I had in here, but I guess I didn't, was puppy food, some puppy food. You suggested one. What do you look for in
Yeah,
general?
well, I
in a
do.
puppy?
I suggested one specifically for that client and puppy or whatever you want to call it. We don't recommend food.
Okay,
I
sounds good.
actually we let vets and breeders do that. Use a kibble or a raw diet that is best for you. Research for yourself. I think that's a whole can of worms that we're not.
Yeah, especially not today when we've only got a few minutes left.
And the thing is, the
Mhm.
whole dog food industry has absolutely changed in the last 20 years, that there are now a lot of kibbles available, which are extremely high quality and healthy foods. It didn't used to be the way. They used to have really
That's cool.
bad kibble and then what they call premium kibble. But now the choice is enormous, and it's why if you go to a good pet store, they should know a little nutrition to talk to you. And you're looking for balance, and of course that's what a commercial food gives you. If you're feeding a raw diet, you've got to make sure you get the balance right. And otherwise, especially with puppies,
Yeah.
it has to be balanced in terms of minerals and protein versus carbohydrate and so on. But there's a huge selection there. The
Yes.
one thing I say about food is I strongly recommend kibble to start with. Why? Because it's so useful, so convenient when training your dog. Training your dog with kibble. You don't need all of these commercial treats and what have you if you've got a really good kibble. And if you hand feed it, that kibble becomes a treat.
Mhm.
So the main thing is, the size and shape of it and that it is kibbleized. And then, when the puppy's older, then you can go to other ways of feeding if you like.
Nice. On the topic of treats, we don't recommend commercial treats, generally speaking. One of the things Dad has talked about for a long time is taking a little freeze-dried liver. This is just little tiny freeze-dried liver cubes and sprinkling
Where
it
did
on.
you get those cubes?
I believe Amazon. Grumps Naturals.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I
They're
haven't been able to find that size.
That's
But
my
well,
product,
is
Jamie.
kibble?
There's a
they
side
call
line.
them mini trainers. Mini trainers.
Yeah, crumbs. Because liver is great, but it can be rich, obviously, and it's hard to break up on the fly. So I like brands that pre-chop it like that.
Right.
Because you do want to be able to, as much as you'll train with kibble, you do want to have high value rewards for challenging scenarios or for extra special performances or for conditioning for certain, items or places. If they to make a happy, positive emotional response with a big impact.
Yeah.
But so it's not. I mean, it's not that we're anti-treat, but you don't need treats to train most things that you do. I give treats for treats, so for special
Right.
performances.
Well,
The
the
other thing we
thing is,
sometimes
you don't-
recommend as a sort of treat is this is a kibble made by Ziwi Peak, but it's a very tasty kibble, and so like dogs are more into it, right?
So it's a air dried jerky like product, which is a nice thing to use, and it is considered higher value or maybe more expensive, fancy um, diet, like things that are whole diet that you maybe aren't going to feed for financial reasons or for whatever reasons, do make a nice training treat or training reward or snack without being outside of the realm of what is nutritionally good for your dog. So that's why it's
Yes,
good to use it. Something
back
like
to the
that.
liver, I would never use that as a training treat, Jamie. I used to way back when choices were limited. That's much too much fat to give a
I
dog.
thought you'd sprinkle it on kibble.
The bag you've got, yes, for making enhanced kibble.
Right.
But I wouldn't sprinkle it on because that's cubed. I like to get the flat, like the Parmesan shaved, you know. But the point is, you only need a 4-ounce bag. I would never have that in the house in case the dog found it and ate the whole lot. I mean, you'd have diarrhea all over the place, apart from the fact it being an extreme challenge for the poor dog's liver. So that is to make enhanced kibble, where you put kibble in a container and you put just 4 of those cubes in the container and the smell of the liver permeates all the kibble. So it's healthy kibble, but it smells like
Mhm.
liver.
Yeah, yeah.
If
Right.
that's too complicated, then I would just go the Ziwi peat route, which is, without a doubt, I just say this categorically, it is the best dog food on the market on many levels. When you look at dog food surveys, it always comes out top with full points based on human standards of food.
Hmm.
But the reason I love it for dog training is the shape of the air dried product. It's flat. So you can take one piece and break it with your fingers into eight. And this is really important, the convenience of having food rewards, because especially when it comes to classical conditioning, if
Yeah.
say your dog freaks out at children, well, I'm going to use 100 or 120 food rewards in one session.
All right.
Well, you can't do that with commercial treats because the salt load, the fat load, the preservative load would be
Okay. I do want to keep us. I do want to keep us moving, but you're right. The
Which
ZWP.
is why I would say use high value food for training.
So the remaining things on the list, I think we had a leash and a collar, and we didn't have any big recommendations there except cheap. So your puppy's probably going to grow out of it. The leash, not a flexi leash, which kind of trains your puppy to pull on leash. And then the big one I think that we haven't talked about yet is the indoor doggy toilet. If you're going to use one of those,
Well, let's. You're going too fast, Jamie. We have to tell them why a cheap collar, because you're going to be buying about 4 or 5 of them. And then when your dog's old, by all means, get a fancy flat leather collar. So don't waste your money on your puppy collar, but we want a flat buckle collar so that it doesn't slip off over your puppy's head and then he's for free. So, and the leash 6 foot is just a great length. Definitely not a one of those extender leashes. They're really dangerous, and they train dogs to pull. That's what they're really good at. If you've got a sled dog and he won't pull, you put him on one of those, and he can run the Iditarod in one session. Apart from the fact that they hog tie people on sidewalks. So I think we must say why we're recommending certain stuff, the reason. Otherwise, people say, "Oh, that was a silly thing. What do you mean? I'm not going to use some kind of extending leash." No, they're really
Yeah,
dangerous,
I mean,
and they teach dogs bad habits.
they have some uses that are very limited, but I would absolutely not recommend them for 90% of the things you're going to do with your dog. Absolutely. Can be very dangerous.
Now onto the toilet, Jamie.
But have
now onto the
fun.
toilet.
Choose colors that you like, choose whatever you like, but flat buckle collar, easy short leash.
Yeah. So Kelly, what do you recommend for a puppy's indoor toilet?
Unless you live in a high-rise apartment and or have a very small dog with and maybe some special circumstances in your own home where you're going to be having a dog that is toileting inside for life. This should be a very short-term situation, having a toilet in their pen, and only used for dogs, puppies, babies, little ones that have tiny bladders that can't hold it for more than an hour or two. If you need to go away for more than an hour or two. I don't love having toilets in their pens. And unless, again, as Ian said, we need to know why we do it. We do it when you need to leave for longer than your puppy will be able to hold it in their crate, or longer than would be appropriately kind and not cruel to a puppy. But it is something that you want to eliminate from their pen, in my opinion, as quickly as you can as they develop physiologically. On that note, what kind do I like? There's several kinds. It depends on the spinal substrate that you want your puppies to eliminate on. Some people do need their puppies to eliminate on concrete patios. Others need it to be in their little garden bed, which is mulch. Most people want some grass involved. Wait there, girl. And and I personally like to teach puppies that are in my care to eliminate on multiple types of surfaces, but then prefer perhaps one type so that they can be adaptable when necessary. If you're on a road trip or visiting somebody else. But think about what your garden looks like. And I'm going to walk away for just a second. And on that note, it seems like somebody here has to go potty. I'm going to be right back. But I think I gave you
How
some
appropriate.
recommendations. Not me, not me. I'm going to dog out. I'm going to let a dog outside who's giving me the signal.
Sounds good.
I
What are your
would
thoughts
say
on the doggy toilet indoors, Dad?
usually for indoor toilets, the only time I would recommend it is in the dog's long-term confinement area in its X pen, and the reason for the dog is in there. And in the first week is you have to leave it for longer than its bladder capacity. Um, and this is very important during the first week. Now, within a week, you should get this puppy house trained. So now it doesn't need a toilet in the X pen unless you're leaving it there for more than an hour, hour and a half.
So it sounds like you and Kelly are both saying you can actually, if you're going to be around while your puppy is there for that first week, you can get by without an indoor toilet.
That if you're there, but
right. If you can take your puppy to the bathroom once an hour.
There must be an indoor toilet in the X pen during that first week. Once you've got the puppy house trained, and so now if he's in his...
Sorry, you just said there must be an indoor toilet in the X pen, but that's only if you're going to be gone for more than an hour.
If you're going to be gone for more than an hour, especially during the first week. But that puppy should be well on to getting house trained and getting the routine within 3, 4, or 5 days. I recommend people, depending on their lifestyle and do they have an outdoor yard or not. They have an outdoor yard, I say as much as possible, take the puppy to the yard and using its eventual toilet right from the outset. And so if you're crate training, and that's why during the first week, I would pretty much have the puppy in the crate the whole time, because I want to be able to predict when it pees. So I can say, do you want to go outside? Put on the leash, run outside, say to your toilets, and he goes to the toilet area, which is a good thing to fence, just 2 square yards. So you can let the puppy off leash in it, shut the gate, and then you say, go pee, it goes pee, and you give it like 5 or 6 food rewards in a row. And so he's going from crate to outdoor toilet. So the only time, I really recommend an indoor toilet is if your puppy's going to be in the X pen because you're going to be gone for more than an hour, maybe hour and a half as the puppy's getting older. But and then we can increase the time, as Kelly said, now where he's not in his crate all day long, because he can have his chew toy in the X pen, and he can explore and play. So the important thing about the crate is this is your house training tool to predict when it will go. That makes house training easy. And you've got to get, especially with little dogs, oh boy, I would make sure probably with them, they're in the crate for 2 weeks when I'm at home. I want to make sure they're absolutely thoroughly trained to hold it and then to go on cue when you get them to hopefully their eventual toilet, whether it's on your balcony and it's wide, then you go straight to the intended substrate. If not, then the practice toilet, is a little concrete slab, a little bit of turf, a little bit of dirt, all of it together, so the dog knows the difference between outside substrate and inside substrate.
All right. Well, unless anyone has any other items they think a new puppy owner really needs that first week, I think we're ready to sign off.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I would say we need a schedule.
Okay, well, that's not really a shopping list item, but I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
I think
and
there's a whole other episode on first week with the new puppy. Yeah?
Yeah, the training stuff we're going to talk much more about. So we're talking about products that you need to buy, right? Yeah. So that, I guess on that note, Dad, you're probably going to say a puppy training book or a puppy training course or subscription or something like that.
Who buys books these days? No, we just go online and download the ebook from, all of our many sites. Yeah, because you want to have nitty-gritty information rather than saying, oh, we're going to Google this online, you get some advice from someone. No, I mean, ours is kind of tested, tried and true on about, what is it now, 120,000 puppies. This works. It's the quickest and easiest way. So it's all in 2 little books. So download them. But most important is back to the schedule, your time. You've got to be training this puppy every hour on the hour to go pee on cue, and then some play training inside with all the toys you've got, waggling the Kongs, so he's playing with them, playing with your tug toys and such. And the sooner you get your puppy on an hourly schedule, the sooner you can stretch it to an hour and a half or 2 hours. And eventually you'll have the puppy on like a 4-hour schedule. And
right. But again, we're going to be talking about all of this in a near episode. Yes. So any other products? Any other products to buy that you can tangibly hold? Physical items?
Nope.
I mean, there's a lot of fun things, but I think that's your basic list. So there's tons of cute toys and stuff, and there are pros and cons to lots of them. So hopefully we'll do an episode on that. But I think that essential list will get you through your first few weeks without.
There is one. I would probably get some dog tags up front, so with your phone number on and your email address, just in case one of your children leaves the front door open and your puppy's gone. So do make sure that he does have his buckle collar and some tags hanging from it, even though you don't intend to take him out yet. It happens occasionally.
I think that's a great one to end on. All right. Safe. We'll say goodbye then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Enjoy your puppies.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more about dog training and behavior, make sure you visit DunbarAcademy.com to check out our selection of courses, many of which are completely free. If you'd rather watch more of our videos here on YouTube, just click the links to the right. And if you want to follow us on social media, everything you need is directly below. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications.